Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, whether you're operating out of the bustling heart of Chicago or a quiet office down in Springfield, understanding the framework of your profession is absolutely vital. Today, we're diving deep into Illinois notary bonds and requirements. If you want to build a successful, compliant career right here in the Prairie State, you really need to understand the sweeping 2024 reforms that completely changed what it means to be a notary here. I'm super excited to guide you through everything you need to know, so let's get right into it.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the 2024 Illinois reforms, then choosing your bond tier, followed by the application and exam. Next, we'll hit the application steps, notary compliance, and finally, wrap up with non-resident rules.
Okay, Section 1. The 2024 Illinois reforms, specifically Public Act 102-10160.
So, effective January 1st, 2024, this act fundamentally overhauled the notary landscape in Illinois. Honestly, if you've been a notary here for years, you just can't rely on the old rules anymore. This major reform brought in some incredibly strict requirements, really shifting the whole profession toward higher security. First off, Illinois now absolutely demands a mandatory 3-hour education course from a Secretary of State approved provider, and that is paired with a brand new 50-question final exam. But it's not just getting the commission that changed, your daily operations have changed too. You're now looking at a mandatory journal for all notarial acts, plus some very strict new specifications for your rectangular seal.
Moving right along to Section 2, choosing your bond tier and figuring out which commission actually fits your business.
You see, Illinois no longer has a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to bonds. The tier you choose directly impacts the services you're legally allowed to offer. If you're just planning on doing traditional, paper, in-person documents, you just need the standard $5,000 bond, which carries a $15 application fee. Simple enough, right? But if you want to add electronic notarizations to the mix, you've got to step up to the $25,000 bond tier, and that comes with a $25 fee. And finally, if you're looking at remote online notarizations, meaning fully electronic acts using remote audio and video, you have to secure the highest tier. That's a $30,000 bond, which requires a $40 fee.
All right, Section 3, the application and exam, basically earning your commission.
Now, the absolutely crucial number you need to remember here is 85%. This is not one of those tests where you can just kind of scrape by. You've got to achieve a minimum passing score of 85% on that new 50-question exam to prove you really understand the laws governing your work.
You really have to take this exam seriously. After you finish that mandatory 3-hour course, the state gives you exactly 3 attempts to hit that 85% mark. And here's the kicker. If you fail 3 times, Illinois won't let you just keep guessing. Nope, you're required to start all over from scratch. You literally have to retake the entire 3-hour course before they'll even let you test again.
Let's jump to Section 4, application steps, or how you actually submit your documentation.
So the great news is, for Illinois residents, the actual application process is now heavily streamlined. You take the course, you pass the exam, and then you apply online at apps.ilso.gov/notary. You can only use a paper application in cases of extreme hardship now. By mandating this online flow, the state has actually dramatically dropped processing times. We're talking going from an agonizing 4 to 6 weeks down to an incredibly fast 1 to 3 business days. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 5, Notary Compliance and Tools. Ultimately, how to stay out of trouble.
This brings us to a massive operational shift, record keeping. Look, unless you have a photographic memory, you absolutely must write everything down now. You're required to record every single act at the exact time of notarization. Whether you go with a paper or an electronic journal, you have to log the date, time, type of act, document description, the signer's name and signature, the ID method used, and the fee you charged. There is one small carve-out, though. Attorneys or law firms that maintain document copies are exempt, but only for employment-related notarizations. For everyone else, the journal is absolute law.
You also need to immediately toss out any of those old embossers or colored ink pads you might have lying around. The 2024 specifications strictly demand a rectangular stamp. It maxes out at 1 inch high by 2.5 inches wide, and it must have a serrated or milled border. And this is totally crucial. You can only use black ink. Why? Because the seal has to be perfectly photographically reproducible. Oh, and it must clearly display the words official seal, your name, Notary Public, State of Illinois, along with your commission number and your expiration date. Now, when it comes to actually charging the public, compliance means you have to respect the new maximum fee caps. For standard, non-electronic, traditional acts, your absolute limit is $5 per act. But if you're performing electronic acts or certain oaths and copy certifications, that cap bumps up to $25. Just remember, overcharging is a really quick way to lose your commission and totally break consumer trust, so strictly stick to those caps.
You also need to be incredibly careful here, because certain offenses trigger an automatic revocation of your Illinois commission. The state does not take infractions lightly at all. We're talking about any felony conviction, specific misdemeanors related to things like theft or deception, committing official misconduct under the Notary Act itself, or any business offense convictions involving the Notary Public Act. Stay far away from any of that.
On the flip side, the state also heavily regulates the bond providers themselves to protect you from predatory tactics. Under Illinois law, bond solicitors literally cannot reach out to you more than 60 days before your current commission expires. And when they do contact you, they are required by law to clearly state in bold print that they are not associated with any state or local governmental agency. This is just to ensure complete transparency so you always know exactly who you're doing business with.
Okay, our final section, Section 6, Special Non-Resident Rules for Border State Applicants.
So what if you actually work in Illinois, but you live in a bordering state like Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, Indiana, or Wisconsin? Well, there are special rules for you. You still have to complete the exam, and you must work in Illinois for at least 30 days with a physical Illinois business address, but your parameters are a bit different. As a non-resident, you face a much shorter, one-year commission term compared to the standard 4-year term that residents get. Also, unfortunately, you can't use that super fast online portal we talked about earlier. You are actually required to submit a traditional paper application.
Well, with these sweeping 2024 reforms now in full effect across Illinois, the era of casual notarization is definitely over. The landscape today is professional, highly secure, and extremely structured. Mastering that 85% exam threshold, strictly maintaining your journal, and staying totally compliant really sets you apart as a trusted official here in the state. So the only question left for you is, which bond tier are you going to choose to elevate your professional capabilities today?
Get your Notary Surety Bond quote in minutes. Apply online. Fast approval, all 50 states at buysuretybonds.com.